I'm always up for some disturbing body horror stuff. Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage and Titan is a brand new French body horror thriller drama. It's a second feature film from Julia Ducournau after her 2016 debut Raw, and it happened to have won this year's Palme d'Or, probably the most prestigious film award next to the Oscar, which definitely came as a surprise because it doesn't happen all that much that such a genre movie wins. I just saw it at the opening of the Slash Film Festival here in Vienna, and it was indeed a very wild, very special experience. And to get the most exciting experience, it's probably best to go into it as blind as possible. Better not to know anything about the story at all. The filmmakers stayed very vague about the synopsis as well, and it just reads like this. Following a series of unexplained crimes, a father is reunited with a son who has been missing for 10 years. And they also just included a short definition of the titular metal titanium, a metal highly resistant to heat and corrosion, with high tensile strength alloys. You can watch the trailer as it doesn't really give away anything. The only thing you should know is that it won't be an easy film to digest. It's not easy to stomach as it features a lot of strong graphic imagery, a lot of nudity and a lot of violence. So, depending on your taste and the kind of movies you are drawn to, this might completely appall or exhilarate you. It's very much at home in the so-called body horror subgenre that has been mostly inspired by the wonderful works of the Canadian director David Cronenberg. Movies like Videodrome, Crash or The Fly. These types of film always fascinate me, and Titan was no different. It starts with our main character Alexia, played by Agathe Rousselle, getting a titanium plate fitted into her head. But the strange or crazy body transformations surely don't end there. You should also know that it's also not an easy film to digest when it comes to its themes, meaning, or simply said, what the hell it's all about. You shouldn't expect a classic narration and certainly no realistic drama. Instead, Julia Ducournau, who also wrote the screenplay, creates her own pretty fucked up but also quite sweet and sometimes even touching, grotesque horror fantasy. It's a story of a troubled young woman and her place in the world. Her motivation, her psyche, it's not all completely clear and it's up to the audience to come up with their interpretations. There's enough in there to connect to it, some elements and motives more obvious than others. From Alexia's work as a showgirl at a motor show, a world dominated by the male gaze, to the similarly male-dominated world of firefighters. Performing, sexuality, physicality and gender identity, but also loss, survival and trauma. Titan could be called convoluted, and some of it isn't as fully explored as you might want it to, and even if the movie is bonkers and extreme, I honestly wished it would have gone even further. But strangely enough, it's also all somehow held together by the strong direction and performances. It has a striking aesthetic, pretty gorgeous camera work, a wonderful soundtrack and just a very fresh and unique tone overall, even if many elements are clearly inspired by other films. The first half is more at home in clear horror territory, while the second transforms more into a tragic comedy, without dropping the body horror angle of course. It's also in the second half that the film reveals that it is as much about Alexia as it is about the middle-aged man Vincent, played by Vincent Ladon. It's about these two broken souls who form this most peculiar bond. Both Agathe Rousselle and Vincent Ladon are fantastic in their roles, and both shine primarily through their physicality. Especially Agathe Rousselle is barely talking at all throughout the entire film. Yet you are kind of hypnotized by her presence. And not just because she has so many nude moments in the movie. Though that certainly contributes in giving Titan this very bold and intimate touch. Agathe Rousselle and Vincent Ladon are stripped down completely, and in the film's grotesque imagery, there's also this beautiful vulnerability and also strength. And though it can be a difficult film to watch, it's also surprisingly fun and entertaining. There's this dark humor to it. Partly, it's the kind of laughter that you just have to let loose because you can't quite stomach and believe what's happening right now, which also makes for some truly memorable scenes. And it's partly because the situations and story progressions are kind of absurd and both main characters are so lost and out of touch. What should I say? It's a crazy film, and just for being so different from most of the other stuff you can watch nowadays, it deserves some credit. I'm not quite sure if it will hold up in the future and if it's maybe a bit too much style over substance and too vague and convoluted, but right now I had a wonderful time with it and I definitely recommend it to everyone who's into some crazy, bold and graphical stuff. So in German I'd say, Titan ist sicherlich einer der verrücktesten und ungewöhnlichsten Filme des Jahres. Eine bunte, bittersüße Body-Horror-Geschichte mit 2 tollen Hauptdarstellern und einer betörenden Ästhetik. I give Titan 8 out of 10. It's more like 7.8, but I don't do that. Alright, that's it like always. Comment below and let me know what you think about Titan. And also, are you familiar with the body horror genre? And if so, what are your favorites? You can hit me up on Twitter, Instagram and Letterboxd, and also on Patreon, simply at TheJimmyCage. And if you enjoyed this episode, please give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like. And make sure you hit that bell for all I have to tell.